Hey guys, what's up? It's Trevor. And today, I thought I'd give you guys a more personal video, and I mean personal, nothing like I've done before. Because since it's April, it's Autism Awareness Month, I thought I'd give you guys a telling of my experience of living with autism for 23 years. And this is gonna be unscripted too. And there's not going to be any facts and stuff. If there are, they're just facts that I've remembered over time. But if you want something if you want a factual video, oh, this is many people have autism and stuff like that, there are videos on YouTube, I promise you, that will hit you up on that. But I thought I would just do a video just to talk about my experiences for 23 years living with this, unscripted, while Mario Sunshine plays in the background, you know? I don't think I could have done like a face cam video for this thing, so I thought I'd just do that to show that, because I recently just got a copy of Mario Sunshine for GameCube for $15 at a garage sale, and I've been playing it. I've completed the Switch copy, but yeah. Anyway, that's off track, but that explains why there's Mario footage. So yeah. Also, if you're coming into this video expecting me to be like, oh yeah, vaccines cause autism. No, get that stupid shit. No, I'm not. No, that's so stupid. If you want something like that, then you're in the wrong classroom. You go down to Ben Shapiro's conspiracy theories, down on the left, right past your common fucking sense. Okay, we're leaving that shit out of here. Okay, so to get started, I have high functioning autism, actually Asperger's, but I think they recently just mushed Asperger's and autism together. So I have high functioning autism, meaning that I can seem like a normal person. I don't have any sort of physical qualities that would give away that I'm autistic, on the low end of the spectrum. Low functioning. There we go. Low functioning autism. To me, low functioning autistic people are kind of like people with Down syndrome, in the sense of they can't really talk, or they can kind of barely talk, or but you can tell. Because I've had experiences, I took social skills classes, so I have experience with people, a lot of experience with people with low functioning autism. So in my mind, that's kind of a correlation of how you can tell. It's kind of like someone with Down syndrome. It's so there are some similarities. So I didn't find out about my autism until about 5th grade. I remember my mom getting me tested, and I'm very, very fortunate to have parents who cared about me enough, who still care about me enough to have done that. Some people with autism aren't as lucky. They don't have parents like that, or they don't even live in a community like that. And I'm very lucky to have. So I guess you could say I am very privileged in that sense. So there's also this that perspective too. I can't really have the perspective of someone who isn't as privileged as I am in that sense. But I remember the tests, the person, the doctor, whatever, the therapist, whatever, asked me a bunch of questions and even had me do the ink blot test. And I remember doing the question, when we got the ink blot, I was actually excited because I've seen those in movies. I'm like, ooh, I get to be in the movies. Which, honestly, that's a mindset I still have to this day. Of sometimes living in the movies of oh yeah, this is in a movie and stuff, you know. So there's that, and I just remember the tests and then finding out what it was, and that was Asperger's. And for the longest time, I think throughout most of middle school, I could not remember what the fucking names were called. I could not remember it was called autism and Asperger's, and yeah. But after we found out, because we already knew I had ADHD. My mom did that, but my mom did notice 3rd grade, 4th grade, I wasn't acting like normal kids would. I didn't have as many friends and stuff. I wasn't being invited to a lot of stuff. It was concerning to her. So after we found out, middle school is when I started taking social skills classes. In high school, I started taking life skills classes, which is basically social skills classes where they teach you about social cues and stuff, body language, tone of voice, inflection, all that stuff. But they mix it with how to, live a good, proper life. Because a lot of autistic people, they don't, like, they're not stupid, but the comprehension level, like, isn't that high for some things that, like, other people can find easily at. Now, of course, remind you, everyone's experience is different, so some autistic people can have different comprehension levels. Like, I cannot comprehend how to fucking use a dishwasher. I really can't. To me, it's like, I don't know what goes where, I don't know what buttons press what, and shit like that. I really don't. For some autistic people, they do know how to use that, like, without a problem. So again, this is my experience, okay? So some things I say will be generalized, so take it with a grain of salt, because everyone's experiences is different, mind you. So, but like with life skills, like I didn't know how to sew. I now know how to sew. I didn't know how to change a tire. I now know how to change a tire. Like they even gave us a lesson on asking people out. They even had us be judged by some high school girls that were participating of like, oh, who would be the best to take on a date, and whoever is learn from them. And when we did that, I was the one these girls wanted to go on a date with. Which I'm not surprised. I knew that. I knew I would excel in that. But yeah, so it was nice because for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, that was my middle school years. We learned about social skills. Again, like tone, body language, inflection, and stuff like that. Like important social cues that other people without autism can pick up on easily. For us, though, we can't. Though I do recommend classes like these to everyone, because some people, even if they don't have autism, don't pick up on this stuff, and it would really help them. It would. And then 9th grade through 11th grade actually were the life skills classes. In 11th grade, I got reevaluated, and they said, oh, well, you're in a special education program, but you have proven that in your academics and stuff, you don't need you don't need that program. You don't need accommodations and stuff. You've been doing fine on your own. So I technically graduated from that. So 12th grade, I didn't have to do any life skills class things at all. But because I love the teachers there so much, that I was a teacher's aide for Miss Bell, my teacher that I had. So yeah. So that was interesting. So living up with with the help of that, living with autism actually is better. It's more easier, but it's still difficult. Because in some social situations, especially when it comes to conflict, it's hard. It can be very hard, and wrapping my mind around it and comprehending it is just, it's not impossible. It's near impossible. Nigh impossible, actually. And the thing is, what I've learned though too is that with autism can come things like ADHD, which comes with depression and anxiety, which I have both. So sometimes you can't have one without the other. So that two-hit combo kind of makes it hard. So it was hard, but also it makes life interesting, because for me, with what I have, I see things outside the box all the damn time. I see things differently. For some people, that's hard for them to comprehend, because when I can provide a solution that's so easy and will get the thing done not only faster, more efficiently, they'll be like, no, we need to do it this way. It's like a traditional way. And it's like, why isn't it working? I'm like, try this. They're like, why did that work? I'm like, because of this, and because I figured it out way faster than you did. It actually happened a lot at work, not gonna lie. But that's one thing about autism. It's like we see things differently, so we can think outside of the box a lot more than other people can. Which is why a lot of people Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon, is autistic. He was able to think outside the box so much and think differently to come up with ideas that that became the biggest selling, the most profitable IP ever. So autistic people are very smart. They're very smart academically and stuff like that. But streetwise, not so much. We gotta learn from that. And other common stuff, again, like household stuff. So, and that's the thing for me, I don't know how to, the oven, it's like, I know how to operate it, but like cooking everything, I don't know. And it's just seeking help is just, I don't know if that is autism, but that's something different. But I excelled in my classes in high school and middle school. Not all of them. A lot of them I just didn't give a shit about, so I just didn't try. But a lot of them I did like English. Oh, I excelled and I loved English. Excuse me. But it's interesting, and a lot of like qualities and like behavior, autistic behaviors, like you'll notice in this video that I do, like kind of like repetition and stuff like that, and just kind of losing track and just and like that. But the social situations are the worst because I get so anxious and I just kind of lose track of what I was thinking of. Like when I'm alone in my bed, calm, I can think about what I should have done very clearly. But when I'm in that actual situation, it's entirely different. The same with conflict. Like for me, conflict is hard because like I might do something that like to me it's like, oh, if I do this, you know, it'll solve it, but it could hurt someone, like someone's feelings, whatever, and shit like that. You know, like for me, it's just like, listen, like it's gonna be done, and I don't want to hurt you. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. This is how I view it being done. And so the other person's like, no, that hurts my feelings. Like, I don't like that. You know, like, we can do things that, yes, get the conflict resolved, but end up hurting our friends or our family. And we didn't think about that part. All we thought about was getting the conflict over and done with. It's I always say it's interesting. That I'm repeating that so much because I haven't lived a normal life, like, and like in at least mentally, I should say, because mentally my life has never been normal. Like it never has been, because like even if things play out like a normal life would, in my head I think of it differently, like a movie, a song, you know, something that I really like a video game. And that's how it plays out. Like, that's how I relate it to. But I'm very happy, though, that, like, besides a lot of the stuff that I do since I'm autistic, like, when I listen to music, I like to rap or sing it out. I like to sing it out. Like I'm at a concert, like, I'm performing. No, and the high schools and middle school, like, the schools that I went to, people were very opening and accepting of that, because, like, it's something that they did too, but I did it more frequently, more often. I wasn't bullied for my autism in middle school or high school. I wasn't. Thank God. They were very accepting, and so I was very, I don't want to say buddy with like the popular kids, whatever, but I was a good associate of theirs. Like, you know, like we got along and stuff. We talked. I usually kept to myself or to my friend groups, because because of my autism, it was hard to make friends in general. So the fact that I had friend groups, multiple, was very comforting for me. But the fact that I wasn't picked on, at least to my knowledge, because again, I kept to myself so much that like if anyone picked on me, I wouldn't hear about it, I wouldn't notice it, I would just be concerned about me. Which in high school is probably the best mindset ever, because high school doesn't fucking matter that much, except for your grades for college. Other than that, like social status and shit like that, it doesn't matter. So if anyone picked on me, I wouldn't have fucking noticed nor cared. Actually, I probably would have cared, but I'm glad I didn't notice if they did, because again, all the popular kids were very nice to me and stuff. So I was very fortunate in that end. But another thing was humor. Humor for me was very hard when I was a kid. Like even like 5th grade in the middle school with humor, someone would say something as a joke. I'd be like, "Are you serious?" They're like, "No, I'm joking." I'm like, "Oh," and I would feel so stupid because they're like, it would be an exaggeration, and they wouldn't mean it. It wasn't until 8th grade that I started gaining a grasp on humor. It wasn't a firm grasp. High school was more of a firm grasp. But it was a grasp that nonetheless. I started making jokes, and now here I am making jokes left and right. A lot of them very inappropriate and dark and stuff, and very out there that like makes you laugh, but also makes you go, what the fuck? But they're still jokes nonetheless, and they're still funny. I'm getting laughs out of it, and that just comes to show that a lot of autistic people, like, whether they don't understand a concept like humor in the beginning, they can learn to accept it. They can learn to accept it, and even how to use it, like I did with humor. So there's that. Another thing about my autism, that I like to keep little not trinkets, but like little things from my childhood, like stuffies, whatever. Like right now, I'm holding my blankie, and my blankie is a small piece of gray fabric right now. It used to be a big giant blanket that I would snuggle with and and smell as a kid. But now, like, it's a small piece of gray cloth that I still have because of my autism. I like stuff like this. They're comforting stuff. They're just stuff that, like, that I just love having around. So there's that. And I still smell it at night. Like, it does, like, I smell it enough to where it puts me into, it calms me enough to where I can, put it to my side and just fall asleep. But it's still, like, a lot of autistic people will have that. They'll keep little trinkets, whatever, as a kid that you may not see any value of and be like, shouldn't you have gotten rid of that, like, when you were, like, 5 or something? But to us, it's like, no, it means a lot to us. It has a lot of sentimental value. And we can't help it. It's just something that we do. So, another thing I've realized about my autism is that it's hard for me to explain my feelings. Because I can be being overwhelmed and have so much sensory overload that when I'm trying to explain what's going on, my mind races and the words aren't coming out. So I just go blah, 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 I don't know. This just feels like this. I'm trying to grasp at straws of things I can compare it to try to help them understand. But when I'm calm, I can be like, well, actually, I felt like this, and they're like, why didn't you say that? Because I felt like I was under pressure trying to explain how I felt. Which is true. That's usually how I feel. I feel like I'm under pressure and I gotta get it out as fast as possible. But when I'm calm and stuff, like, it's no problem. I can give it detail. But under pressure, it's like worse for me. It's like I can't even get the words out. But some feelings, I know what they feel like. They feel negative, they feel positive, they feel good, they feel bad. But trying to give an accurate, like, description of it can be hard. Like, if I have a bad feeling, it's like, well, why are you feeling bad? Like what exactly are you feeling? I don't know. It just feels bad. Like, I don't know. And later I can find out, well, it felt like my heart was breaking. My stomach was just eating in on itself. And I was just, and my head was just shrinking, and my brain was shrinking, and and it just like stuff like that. So it can be hard for me to explain how I feel, which sometimes sucks when I'm trying to get out of a conflict. I'm trying to resolve a conflict, and telling them how I feel doesn't help. It makes them more confused, and then yeah. Also with me, I've noticed, like, because of my autism, that I think of things as point A to point B, and this is how we get it. Just straightforward. Some people, it's like, no, it's like, what do we gotta do to it? I'm like, this is what we do. They're like, no. I'm like, yeah, I do it, get to that point, it's perfectly done, or done enough to where it's like, it'll do, and they're like, how did you do that? I'm like, because of point A to point B. I told you how to do it, and I did it. But in other things, I'm like, no, this is too much of a complicated situation. We gotta think about it more. We gotta branch it out. We gotta think about it more in depth. We can't just do simple A to B. And that's the thing. I can tell the difference. For a lot of things, I can tell the difference. Compared to other people, I can tell the difference between what can be a point A to point B scenario and what is a point A to point A-1 or A.5. Like, this is what we need to do to get to B, but like we gotta do all these other things in between to get to B. And it's just problem solving skills. Like what I've noticed, a lot of autistic people have good problem solving skills, especially in the areas they excel without having, proper knowledge to even excel in it. It's like, I built a computer in my closet as a kid. Like, I took old PC parts that we had and built it and made it work because I studied the damn things, and I was able to do it without even knowing like what a PCI Express card slot is, like what a power supply is, like that stuff. Now, I couldn't get the internet to work because we didn't have a cable running up to my room, obviously, but still though, I was able to make a computer work without even knowing any sort of tech savvy words, like what everything does correctly and stuff. Is like, oh, all I know is that like if I plug these cables into here, this little board thing has power, and if I plug this card thing into this specific slot, I get video out. I get video to the little screen. Like, I even took VCRs apart, like in our basement, to understand how they work, and I even fixed them by learning about like the rubber bands, the greasing and stuff, and I was able to get some stuck VHS tapes out of the VCRs. My parents were just amazed. My parents were just astounded the fact that I was able to do that. So, I think that's really all I can really talk about, like, because like if you haven't grasped the experience of autism, I think it's best how I said it many times. It's interesting. It's an interesting experience. It's interesting mental disability to have. Though I don't like calling it disability because it puts me as a hindrance in a lot of areas that other people don't. That normal normal people don't. But it also helps me excel in a bunch of areas that normal people don't. That they have to work towards. Me, I was a computer whiz at 5 fucking years old, and I barely knew what the concepts meant. I barely knew any concepts. Other kids at 5 years old probably wouldn't even know how to put a computer right, and probably would have snapped the motherboard, or like snapped some cards, whatever, or like ruined a wire on the power supply. So, in areas that I lack, had helped me excel in other areas. Kind of like how it's said to, like, for people who are blind or deaf, they may lack in that specific area, but it helps them excel in other areas, Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. It can be difficult, but if you get like proper social skills classes, which thank God the schools in my area offered it. If you get those, if you go through social skills and life skills classes, they really do help with your social abilities, your social interactions. Because now I'm able to actually tell people's facial expressions, whether they're okay, they're not, by their body language and their tone of voice. And whether someone tries to pull no, I'm fine on me, I'm like, no, you're fucking not. Like, I can tell your voice seems down, your body language is saying something's wrong. Tell me what's wrong. And they're like, well, I just don't want to talk about it. Well, then I'm like, okay, that's fine. I just don't fucking lie to me like that. Yeah, I'm really ungrateful that I had the parents who cared enough to find out why I'm acting so different and why I wasn't like the normal kids. And that I was able to get the help that I needed, because it is help. It is help, and I don't want the help to be used as like, oh, I don't need help, I can do it on my own. No, it's like, without this help that I got, I wouldn't have been able to be the kind of person I am now, and know the stuff that I know now. And I probably wouldn't have made as many friends as I have now. Thank God. But I don't want to get rid of this autism. I don't. It can be a struggle, but I don't want to get rid of it. Despite the struggle. And I know places like Autism Speaks are like, we're gonna find a cure for it. No, don't find a cure for this shit. don't. And that's really stupid that you're trying to find a cure for this. I don't like that one bit. And again, I don't like Autism Speaks in general, because they've done a lot of shady shit. I would not support them. As an autistic person myself, like, I wouldn't. Because this mental disorder, it's not a detriment to society. It doesn't make me like a threat to society. It doesn't make me worse in society. It just gives me a handicap to certain aspects of life that through teaching, learning, and experience, I can improve on. So yeah, no. Definitely hate Autism Speaks. Definitely is not a good representation of autism. Definitely not. But the autism experience is definitely interesting, quite the experience, and enjoyable nonetheless, despite, at least for me with my high-functioning autism, and what I have in my perspective. It's fun, because I'm very smart. I'm very intelligent, and I can figure things out so easily. Despite all the negativities that having a mind like mine can bear, in the sense of like my open imagination and having such an open thought process that the thought of anything, and I mean anything, can come through, it's still fun. It's still fun. I'm living the best I can with it. That's about it. I know some people don't like it, some people hate it. To me, I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. It makes life interesting enough, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Because if I didn't have this, I think I'd be another boring ass person. I'm not gonna lie. I really think I'd be another boring ass person that wouldn't be that wouldn't enjoy life as much as I do now. So yeah. That's my experience with autism. If this video was all over the place, I'm sorry, but that's an unscripted video from me, and that's kind of how autism is. Like, your thought process is all over the place, but as long as you get to the end point, you try to make, and you can make some sort of sense out of it, then you're good. And God, it's almost 30 fucking minutes. I might have to cut something out. Well, more like some pauses or whatever. I don't know, maybe. Maybe I'll just leave it all in. Who knows? But I really do hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope it kind of opens your eyes to an autistic experience. Because some of the things I experience are shared among a lot, majority if not all autistic people. Like, I did forget to mention though how, like, as a kid I was very sensitive to things like fireworks, bright things. Like, I was very sensitive. My ears, my eyes, all that stuff. I've now grown adjusted to that. Like, I love fireworks and bright things now. Sometimes I do still have audio and like overloads, but still other than that. But yeah. So again, hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I hope it did open your eyes up to what it's like to be autistic and live with it for 23 years. Now, of course, my experience is just a slice of an experience. Every autistic person experiences something different, even if we do have similar personality traits or like similar tendencies, like this, you know, like the overloading and stuff, and the lack of grasping a social environment. Like I can't speak for everyone. Like, I can't. Like the experience of autistic person and a person in general is too detailed. It's too it's not minute, but it's too nuanced for it to be able to be generalized so easily. Okay? But if you want to know like what the common traits of autistic people are, like what we all share, then I definitely recommend looking it up. That's my best advice. I also advise not supporting Autism Speaks. So they do have a lot of good, like, accurate facts about autism. A lot of their practices and shady business shit is just not good. Like, the fact that they teamed up with Google to try to find a cure for autism, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But I hope you all have a good rest of your day. I hope y'all are now more appreciative of autistic people and can now probably celebrate Autism Awareness Month a little smarter now. Okay. Y'all have a good rest of your day. This is Chairman 5 out.